This is not fiction. It is science. Unchecked, climate change will pose unacceptable risks to our security, our economies, and our planet.
Well, those ClimateGate emails exposing some serious issues and doubts about that science the president's talking about. Now, two top House Republicans urging the big guy to investigate whether illegitimate science could lead to a pricey global warming bill. In a now famous, some say infamous email, a climate scientist saying that he is tempted to, and I quote, beat the crap out of my next guest. Pat Michaels from the Cato Institute joins me right now. Pat's never alarmed by this, so he's the calmest guy I know. You know, he's like the pilot, like going right into a mountain and nothing bothers him. Pat, so obviously you're the better of that email thread. How you doing these days?
I'm doing okay. I see the president was off there and in Copenhagen telling one side of the science story. There's a whole another side of the science story, which has to do with the fact that it's not warming up very much.
Well, you know, I thought of you, Pat. I mean, this guy, Phelan, who was chasing these guys, you know, at this very tilted summit.
Right.
He was hit with something. We don't know whether it's a tomato or whatever, but he was hit. So at least you were spared that indignity.
Yeah, the summit pretty much has been a huge waste of greenhouse gases, as you know.
Well, maybe not, though. But we're getting word, by the way. I don't mean to interrupt you, my friend. But
I know.
Out of Copenhagen, the U.S. and 4 of the countries have apparently reached agreement on verifying greenhouse gas emissions. So they're not going home totally empty-handed. What do you make of that?
Yeah, they're going home with about 1 gallon of gas in the tank. You know, the way these things work, this is what happened in Kyoto in 1997, is they announce that there's a deadlock and nobody agrees, and then some world leaders come in at the end, and the meeting goes longer than it's supposed to, which it's doing right now, and lo and behold, an agreement appears. In this case, it's not going to be much of an agreement, I'm pretty sure, but they will announce victory and that the world will be saved at the next conference of the parties, which will be in Mexico City on November 8th, 2010, 6 days after our congressional election.
Is that so? In Mexico City, there's a real clean, spruced up city, so that should go well. Pat, what do you make, though, of China and India just up and leaving this thing, walking out?
Nobody expected that they were going to agree to substantial emissions reductions unless they were bribed with an incredible amount of money that is even politically unacceptable here in the United States. And, you know...
But did they need to be bribed at all? I mean, wasn't the argument that these guys are rich, certainly China was, that maybe we didn't give them something else they wanted?
I don't know exactly what happened. Obviously, I wasn't there behind closed doors. We don't know exactly what went on. But the Chinese had never agreed to reduce their emissions. And when the press would carry stories that China is going to agree to big reductions, read the fine print. They were going to reduce their emissions per unit GDP, while their GDP grows like crazy. So their emissions were going to increase dramatically.
I got to ask you this, Pat, because you know about this stuff. I don't. We're going to have a big blizzard along the East Coast tomorrow. I think they're expecting like 500 feet of snow or something like that. But
the computer models are very enthusiastic about this.
So let me ask, I've talked to global warmists or those who support this idea that the climate's, you know, again, warm and all. It might very well. I'm not sharp enough to say. But they say you can have it both ways. Last year they were telling me, Neil, get ready to just go through the winter in Bermuda shorts because it's not going to be hot. Now that we're going to have this big old blizzard, it's going to be a cold winter. Which is it? Which is more indicative? Are they both indicative of what?
Well, honest to God, when you heat things up, you have less snow. You know, people who say you're going to get worse winters in the United States because of global warming are probably the same like my neighbors who think that if you put hot water in the ice cube tray, it freezes faster. No, cold air is what gets in shorter. No, it doesn't. Sorry, okay. Neil.
All right, well, duly noted. Pat Michaels, thank you very much. Very good seeing you. You always have a good sense of humor, good attitude about this.